All right, call the reorganization of the school board meeting. Roll call vote. All members are present. Student reps are present. A lot of people are present. Let's rise for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, moving on to election of the chair. Are there any nominations for chair?
Garrett Luthens.
Garrett Luthen's been nominated. Is there any other nominations? Is there any other nominations? All right. Being none, does anyone want to pass? I'm trying to look for that one word, you guys. You guys remember it? Oh, thank you. I need a second. Is there a second?
So moved.
Motion by Nanny, second by Aaron. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Danny and then Aaron. It's back.
Yep, thank you. Yeah. All right, moving on to nominations for vice chair.
Aaron Knudsen.
Aaron Knudsen been nominated. Is there any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Hearing none, I will just, this I think of what I should have done. Yeah.
I'll second that anyway.
I accept.
Thank you, Aaron. But I think this is where it's supposed to be all acclamation for directing that year. Thank you. All right, moving on to clerk. Is there nominations for clerk?
Mike Mossman.
Mike Mossman nominated for clerk. Is there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? All right. Mike, do you accept?
Yes.
Thank you. Is there a second to that?
So moved.
I'd second it too, but
Aaron?
she already did. So.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations, Mike. On to treasurer. Is there a nomination for treasurer?
Sarah Pullman.
I'll second that. Sorry.
Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Hear none? Do you accept?
I do.
All right. On. Second.
I second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Yeah, no.
Got through our board. Congratulations, everybody. Moving on to the official newspaper. Which, at this time, Dan, I don't think we are going to elect that. We're going to still keep posting at the local library and on the website. Is that correct?
Yeah, we are still exempt until August with legislation that went through a couple years ago.
Yeah. All right. Nothing there. Moving on to official depositories. The list is presented.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mossman, second by Olmsted. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Depositories passed. Investments. It's directing board treasurer, director of finance, and the district controller to invest his funds as they become available. And there's the motion up there. Is there some motion that?
So moved.
Motion by Danny. Is there a second?
Excellent.
Second by Aaron Knudsen. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Investments passed. School board salary. This is going to be affirming what we passed last year. Is there a motion to accept?
So moved.
Motion by Mossman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Sarah. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Board salary passed. On to mileage. Is there a motion to accept the new IRS guidelines?
So moved.
Motion by Sarah. Is there a second?
Second.
Which one wants that?
Whichever.
Jankowski, second. Any discussion?
What is it gonna be? What is it?
No other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Mileage passed. Board meeting dates and times. I would like to make some comments on this one.
So moved.
On what?
Meeting dates and times.
I think it needs discussion though. So you motion, then you discuss, correct?
Okay.
Oh, I was just gonna, okay.
So moved.
Motion by Mossman, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Jankowski. All right, now back to discussion. Instead, it's stated here that we're talking about moving the regular board meeting. As this one is stated, it's saying that we're keeping it, but this is where we're gonna discuss about moving the regular board meeting to the fourth Tuesday and having our workshop on the second Tuesday of the month. And the process of doing that, or the reason, is to give the finance committee some more space and latitude as bills are coming in. Did I misstate that from the group?
Nope, I just add that, I know Sarah's been on the finance committee a little bit longer than I think anybody on the board, but the way it works now is the finance, or the finance department has essentially from the end of the month until the first Thursday to get all reports ready, and the board often doesn't get those reports due to time constraints until Tuesday or Wednesday, at no fault of the finance team. And so by switching the two meetings, this will allow the finance team plenty of time to put together the reports in full, send them to the board for a full review, allow time for questions before our first meeting.
I do have a question. When you were saying it, did you say the Tuesday? Because we did all our vetting of Mondays.
What did I say?
Tuesday? And I think
Well, it
we were
says
talking
on-
about second and fourth Mondays, right?
Let's say Tuesday.
No,
I
this says the
misspoke, you
May
guys.
meeting. This,
Yeah, the May meeting, yes, but
Well,
just generally they would be
Moving them to
Mondays.
Tuesdays.
Right.
They'd be on Mondays.
They'll be on Mondays, only flip flop.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Just wanted to be clear. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
And when would this process start? Would it start February?
Yes. So we would still have our work session in January as planned. And I'm just confirming, making sure that the demographer's still coming, and then we would have a workshop for budgeting, and then February start the new. I don't know if we would have a work session right away after we just had one 5 days earlier, but we would start that
Cycle.
the regular meeting would be at the end of February.
Okay.
so I think that the motion is gonna have to be reworded. Go ahead.
right, now we have to vote on this one, essentially decline it, and then somebody states a new one in reverse. Is there any more discussion? All right, let's take a motion. To be clear, this is the old system, and we're discussing the new system. So all in favor of that current motion, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Aye.
Aye.
All right, that motion failed. Is there a new motion for board meeting dates and times?
I move that the regular school board meetings be held on the fourth Monday of each month, and that work sessions are the second Monday of each month. That the board meetings, the official board meetings are held in this facility. Work sessions will be other places. And that the May regular board meeting would be Tuesday, May 26th. And yeah, that's it. At 5:30. Did you get all that?
Go ahead. Is there a second to that motion? All right, Mossman, second. Any further discussions or clarification on the motion that was made? All right, Tina, did you get that one? All right. If you're no other discussion, all in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Passed. Congratulations. Short-term employment. There it is. Is there a motion to authorize superintendent to do short-term decision-making up there on the employment?
So moved.
Is there motion by Pullman, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Olmsted, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passed. Petty cash. Funds are presented up there. Is there a motion to approve the petty cash funds as presented?
So moved.
Motion by Mossman, second by Knutson. Any discussion?
These are all unchanged from last year, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
No other discussion? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Meeting appointments, I left them as is, and if anyone has anything to say or would like to do something different, let me know. But
I don't
based on the
see,
based on the feedback, when I was talking with everyone, there was some interest in moving, but there was not enough members, I would say, interested in moving. So for the sake of just continuity and for, I think, the district of just the members staying the same this round, but I would say if there's any interest in certain members, please by all means let us know so we can swap some around if anyone has interest in swapping like on a policy or PRC. I mean, these are not to live and die by up here, so.
is there another page to this? Because I don't see finance.
It was on the first page.
Aha, thank you.
There we go.
And I'm not sure, cause I looked at it so fast, we could just say calendar as well. I know that's not one that always gets up there, but it's going to be, Sarah and Danny, so it's just kind of an addition to one.
What? No, we've decided to make it.
Any further comments on the committee assignments? All right. Is there any other business anyone wants to bring up? Is there a motion for adjournment or reorg?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Knutson, second by Mossman. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Reorg adjourned. There we go. Oh my gosh. All right. Rolling back in. There we go. Calling the school board back into the regular school board meeting. No necessito, or sorry about that. No need for pledges and allegiance. Roll call, all members are still present, and we're gonna move on to public comment. Anyone from the public would like to come up and speak on any items? All right, seeing none, we're gonna move on to the consent agenda. Is there anything out of the consent agenda a member would like to pull for further consideration? All right, if there's nothing, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Knutson, second by Olmsted. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Consent agenda passed. On to programs. Student highlights.
Hi everyone, good evening. I'd like to start by talking about the Blue Collar Tour happening at our high school January 22nd. This is the second year the high school has hosted the Blue Collar Tour, and it's open to the public. It's taking place at the high school from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. on January 22nd. It gives people a chance to see hands-on programs and learn more about careers in the skilled trades. In addition to that, I'd like to mention our Tiger Well program at the high school. In this class, students work on real projects while learning valued skills. Right now, they're building a trailer as a group, creating a sculpture for the Hutchinson Stroll, and working on a stencil project for the city. Students also have individual projects and spend time practicing their welds to improve their skills and their confidence. This class is taught by Mr. Coring, who does a great job preparing students for real-world work and future careers. Thank you for your time.
And then, good evening, everyone. I know Eleanor and I discussed this at our previous meeting, but we did some surveys for the junior and senior classes. This is a bit long, so bear with me. But I wanted to gather some feedback directly from students about their post-graduation plans. And then I know we brought up addressing any concerns they had for the board, so I went ahead and asked that too. So due to weather-related incidents, we didn't have our monthly class meetings, so the surveys were sent out via email. I believe there was some non-response bias because students didn't choose to complete it, or maybe they didn't see it. So for the junior class, I received 75 responses in total. Of those, responses, 67% plan to attend college or university, 12% plan to enter the workforce directly, 15% plan to attend trade school or an apprenticeship, and 4% plan to join the military. When asked whether or not they felt that HHS has adequately prepared them for life after graduation, 88% of juniors responded yes. Among those who answered no, the most common concern was that they have not learned enough real-world or practical life skills in their classes, with the exception of some elective courses such as welding. For the senior class, there were 40 survey responses. For those students, 71% reported plans to attend college, 19% plan to enter the workforce directly, and 10% plan to attend a trade school. Notably, 98% of seniors said that they felt HHS had adequately prepared them for life after graduation. Similar to the juniors, those who responded no frequently cited a lack of real-world skills. Finally, I asked the students from both classes if they had any additional concerns they wished to bring to the attention of the school board. A few common themes emerged. Several students expressed concern that bullying was not being addressed enough at the high school, and then others shared that they felt certain teachers do not show sufficient care for student success or emotional well-being and do not put forth the effort students believe is necessary to effectively support students. Overall, I believe that the survey shows that a strong majority of students believe that HHS has adequately prepared them and that they also have clear post-secondary plans. I appreciate the opportunity to share this feedback on behalf of the student body.
Can you share, I'm sorry, the first concern that people wanted to address with the board? I missed what you said.
A lot of people said that bullying was a problem that they felt was like really affecting them at the high school and that it just wasn't addressed seriously enough.
Thank you.
And when you mention bullying, you say a lot. Can you give me more concrete, like, was that like 5 people out of all of those, or was that like 50% people said this is a real problem?
I would say out of both the juniors and seniors, I probably got about like 20 complaints total.
Oh, okay.
And I'd say that maybe like 7 or 8 of them cited bullying as their concern.
Thank you. Any other questions from? All right, moving on to Tiger Time. Ms. Taylor.
How are you tonight?
Good, how are you?
Yourself?
Good. I have asked Robin Detman and Jen Kroon to come out. We're gonna do a little presentation on AAC devices and what we use with some kids in some of the programming we do in special education. Kind of a hands-on presentation.
As we get to this point, we'll let you pass things out.
All right, good evening. I'm Robin Detman, Jennifer Kroon. We are speech language pathologists within the school district. I work mostly in, well, pretty much all in early intervention and those in elementary school. Today we're going to talk to you about augmentative and alternative communication at school, and specifically what we're doing here in Hepburn.
All right, so what is AAC? It's a set of devices, systems, strategies, or tools that support or replace spoken language. So the first A in our AAC has to do with augmentative. It's supporting communication. We might have speakers who are minimally verbal or minimally speaking. And then alternative is instead of speech. When we have students or adults, really any age of person who isn't using spoken language to be able to communicate. So we have some things to pass around. We have different levels of technology that go along with AAC. Our first the first actually is no tech, and that would be things like gestures. You know, when a young child goes like this, we know they're like, I don't know. Pointing is another form of no tech. Our next is low tech or light tech, and that's what has been passed around. These are core communication boards. Some of them have real photos on them. Some of them have symbols that are meant to mean something. And then we have some that, I was thinking we have some that have 4 pictures on there. So that might be a communicator who is either very young or they may have a cognitive delay or disorder where we simplify. and then we have some that are really complex that we've passed out. Another level of AAC that we use here in Hutch is mid-tech. And so these are various switches or buttons. They use batteries, but they're not as complex as some of the high-tech options that we use. So what is being passed around? Yeah, you can turn it on. We have a couple of the buttons that are being passed around. And so we try to record student voices on these, or the voice of a child that would be the same age as the child who would be using these at school. One of them is a small button that says go. That might be something that we put at the door if we have a child who, I need to go to the bathroom, so they could push go on the way out. We as therapists or teachers might put that there, and every time we're going to go, we push the button, let's go. So we're using our own speech and sentences along with using these supports. The last we're going to talk about is high tech. And we are really fortunate here in the school district to have been supported through special education and through some of the billing that we have to do to be able to provide students with devices. In our school district, we have iPads that have software programs on them that allow various different sizes of layouts. And the nice thing about these is you can start with a small amount of language. We can hide pictures on the front so that we simplify these for kids. And you can go all the way up. One of them has, I think, 144 symbols on it. So these are meant to grow with students if they end up continuing to need augmentative communication over time. Go ahead and push buttons.
Well, and for the folks maybe that are, all the people that might be tuning in at home, what's really cool too is when you get into a box of one, it sort of leads you to ask the next question,
Right.
which is also very cool, right?
Yes.
So you can press time, and then a new set of icons will come up, and the child can then share what part of time are you interested in. So
Exactly.
kind of leads them on.
Yeah.
I'm curious, as to how our non-English speakers use these, or do you have like a Spanish program, or do you operate with one? I'm starting to see a little, go
That
ahead.
is a good question.
Yeah.
So both of these have a setup that you can have English, and then there is a switch that you can push that will change it to, say, Spanish. Spanish is the language that we've used here in the school district. And I would say probably we have 3 or 4 who have that capability. So obviously we use English at school, but some of these devices go home. And so the families or the kids are able to switch into the home language. Or some of them choose to speak that at school as well.
Mm-hmm.
The other cool thing is you can pick different voices. So if they're a boy or a girl, if they do have a Spanish accent, you can put a Spanish child's voice on there too that speaks English. So it's nice that it's very customizable to the child. You can also change skin tone in there so that they're represented how they look. Yeah.
How many kids in the district are using these now?
We're gonna
It's
get
a great
Oh,
question.
Perfect.
Thank you for asking.
Yes.
So before we get to that, we'll just talk about a few different categories of people who may use AAC. This is not, we could spend our 10 minutes just talking about all the different types of people, but these would be more ones we would maybe see in the school district. Autism, cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, apraxia speech, which is a motor speech disorder which causes significant unintelligibility, or very unintelligible for other reasons, which could be a severe phonological disorder or articulation disorder. Varying genetic disorders, ALS, Parkinson's, TBI, and those would be more of your progressive. We probably wouldn't see these as much in school. We could see TBI, but we do have some kids with some genetic disorders that are progressive, so they may have started with speech and typically, and then losing those speech skills. And basically any condition where verbal speech is limited or significantly difficult for them. Then we'll get to the next slide. So currently in Hutch schools, we have about 40 kids using devices. It's kind of a rough number because I have some just starting, we have some who are finishing up with that. So sometimes these devices are considered like just temporary or a bridge. So some of my late talkers who haven't developed language but likely will, and maybe they'll only use it for a few months or for a year. So it's just a temporary solution to help increase their ability to communicate and increase their ability to get their needs met and reduce behaviors, potentially, frustration with not being able to, but they won't be long-term users, so we kind of consider it a bridge. And also it's really hard to predict that, which kids are gonna need it, which kids aren't. So even if they just use it for a few months, we feel like that's still worth our time learning it and giving it a try. And then we have some kids who are also just part-time users, so they may have some verbal speech, but maybe in times of high emotion or in certain classes or different times of the day where their voice just isn't working for them, where their body's just not working, and we all have those moments. And I am the early intervention special speech pathologist, so I work with kids from birth to 5. And I've been doing this a really long time, and really just in the last few years have we been giving kids those high-tech, that one right there is for a 3-year-old that's sitting up here. We're starting them with 2-year-olds in their homes and training parents to use them. And so that's been really exciting. We also start with some low-tech. So I have some of those sheets that you saw. I have a specific one I use for early intervention. We're giving it to daycares. I'm actually hoping to start getting them up on some walls in daycares because they're finding them useful for all the kids, not just the kids that we're there to see. So it just gives them that extra visual for communication. And I just wanted to share one little story. I had a young student. I had been seeing her for probably 8 or 9 months. Things weren't coming along as I had hoped. So I'm like, let's give it a try. She was 2 at the time. Brought the device in, we sat down, started modeling on it, and we didn't really know how much she knew because she couldn't tell us or show us. And she found a page and she started hitting the buttons, and we're like, head, and then she touched her head. And then she found nose and touched her nose. So she knew her body parts that we never knew for the 1.5 years that we knew her. So it was super, actually I could cry at that story. It's just been very exciting to see her explore it. She kids know how to use that finger on technology. So that's been a change just in how we do things, but she was able to find buttons, and she actually was able to tell me at school when she started in our Tiger Cubs program. She navigated to the birthday page, which is at least 3 buttons, and it was her birthday in the next couple weeks. And I asked Mom, oh, you must be talking about her birthday, and she's like, no. I'm like, there's no way she could get there just randomly. Like, it took a few. And she is now becoming more verbal. She's still using, so that's probably 8 months later. She's becoming more verbal. She's starting to talk, but she still needs the device to really get all her needs met. So it's been very exciting to watch kids just get those skills through this kind of technology.
Yeah. Do you have any questions?
You guys are good?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to administrative reports. Superintendent Dean.
All right, good evening again. I'm looking forward to attending the MSBA conference this Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. There's an early bird one on Wednesday. I think Garrett, you might be going to that one too. It's on conflict and working with people and that kind of thing. So are you going to that one?
I am.
Yes, you are too, Dan? Okay. So looking forward to that. And then there's always a lot of breakout sessions on Thursday and Friday to attend. So that should be great professional development for the people attending. I've decided, today we kind of decided about how to maybe get some better communication from the district office to our families and staff. And Infinite Campus, which is our student management program, has a very low cost sort of texting and calling feature that we can subscribe to, which then we can get the word out about things a lot faster, and it'll be better than just email. And so I think we're just in the process of getting that, but people can sign up and say whether they want a text, they want an email, or they want both, or they want to call as well. So there'll be options for people, and it'll be pretty instantaneous. So I think we're probably a little behind that way, just sending out emails and people don't look at their emails in the morning or whatever. So we're working on that and we're going to put that into place. I had an opportunity because of weather. The first mentoring session with freshmen got pushed back after Christmas. It was supposed to be before. And so this week we were able to get our first mentoring, or last week, our first mentoring session in with the freshmen for trimester 2. So I had an opportunity to go do that. There are other ones on January 23rd and February 20th. I don't think there's a trimester 3. I think they're all done after trimester 2 for this year. So that was great. And I completed my 15-month program for the Advanced Leadership Academy. And the Academy gave me a lot of different topics to explore as an administrator and a leader, gave me some different perspectives on how to work with people and to just some more effective ways to lead school districts. So it was well appreciated that I could go to those and learn. I will be setting up quarterly meetings with the principals and directors, as I do every 3 to 4 months, depending on how the months lay out. They help me connect with my administrators and also get into the buildings and talk to them about how things are going in their areas. The 2026-27 calendar committee, as I mentioned, we have Sarah and Danny. Danny will be in his second year on that, and Sarah will be in her first, and that's kind of what we decided to go to this time. So there's one that's been there, and there's one that will have been there. So then there's always that knowledge from the year before. And that first meeting is on January 22nd, and then from there we'll see kind of what is decided. A lot of times what happens is we come up with a lot of ideas, and then people go back and they go back to their buildings and they sort of ask how things are going and what kinds of ideas they're interested in, and then we usually get together again. It may be March though before we can bring the calendar forward, because this meeting kind of took a while to get set up with everybody's schedules. And the Strategic Planning Committee continues to meet. They met on January 7th to start writing the 3-year continuous improvement plan. And we got a good start on that, and then we'll keep refining that. And then at some point, you guys as a school board will be folded back into this, and you'll be able to see a lot of the work and be able to give some input on that. Any questions? Okay, for negotiations, for HESP, we met on January 5th to review counter proposals from HESP. The district asked clarifying questions. HESP asked if another meeting could be added before mediation, which is on January 27th. It was very hard to come up with a common date for all of us, but there may be some opportunity to work on some proposals electronically before then. Mediation is on January 27th, and another joint negotiation meeting is on January 28th. For Local 284, we met on December 19th. Counter proposals were discussed along with finances. The next meeting is scheduled for January 30th. That's it.
Any questions for Dan? All right, thank you, Dan. Director Scott?
Okay, I'm going to start with some updates that Principal Jennifer Tlesky was going to talk about tonight. She's not able to be here. She's not feeling well, so wanted to ensure though that we got these topics discussed in terms of some new courses, because the course guide is coming out and students, I believe already at the middle school, we're starting to hear about some opportunities, and we want to today. We want to make sure that if you have any questions or concerns with any of the classes that you're aware, but she comes here in January every year and says if there's any new course offerings. So these have come before the Comprehensive Achievement and Civic Readiness Committee, the last meeting, and then again at this one. So the next slide just talks about when the high school administration is proposing any new courses or amended courses. We put this timeline together a while ago, at least when I started this position, just to make sure that we had a system in place of introducing when we're going to start adding courses. Usually the high school starts because they get their course guide out, and then if there are any other additions throughout the other buildings, it's not as necessarily timely because we can add those later, but when we're starting to talk about high school courses, we need to start this early. So talking about making sure it's staying within our mission, vision, and values of Hutchinson Public Schools, continuing to be looking at Tiger Path. Sometimes we got to keep doing what we're doing it well. It doesn't mean that we need to constantly be changing something. We have to be able to have systems in place to maintain what we're doing, but there's always room for other offerings for our students. So thinking about those career fields, and especially as they get into their junior and senior year, what are some of those things that are directly, even maybe more directly related to a career specificity in some of these titles. You'll see that. Engaging with student academic interests, and then of course addressing any state mandates or state standards. We want to make sure all of our courses have that. So the next slide has some of the courses on there. One of them, and I'll go in a little more detail, introduction to broadcasting, and then an advanced sports broadcasting. A little bit of a modification to our World of Work course that has a CDL option attached to that. And then natural physics, 2 sections, an A and a B, and then natural chemistry. So a little more specific to the intro to broadcasting. One of our teachers, Tim Carroll, he was at the middle school for a number of years. And then I was at the high school this year and did a little bit of this when he was at the middle school too, in the communications area. But this course is Introduction to Broadcasting, introducing students to fundamentals of broadcasting, speaking, writing, listening, technical production, media analysis, to learn more about broadcasting, radio, television, that pathway. And then the next one is advanced sports broadcasting. The other class was for 9th through 12th graders. This one would kind of be the next level of that, in expansion to production and technical support, live broadcasting. I know Tim had talked about at our Comprehensive Achievement Civic Readiness meeting about how this can maybe even be hands-on and do some real life broadcasting. So it is looks like 2 very interesting courses, very specific then as we start talking about career paths. Doesn't necessarily need to lead into broadcasting type things, but we know when you can public speak and do these sorts of things that it can open doors for other things too. Maybe not just necessarily being on radio or television, but in other areas of broadcasting and production. So that is 2 proposals to go on our course guide. The next one is something that we'd like to even start this trimester. So World of Work is a course we've had for a number of years, where students do in class, learning about safety and rules and about work, resume building, those sorts of things, and then are going out and doing things on the job. One of this component is adding a CDL component to this. The students would still have to be doing, if they want to, as an option if they're taking this course. If they're taking World of Work, they're learning those components in the classroom, and then they're going out to work in a business in town as part of their hours. They're still going to have to do all of that. This would be something in addition to that. They would have to do some things in class to start this process of working towards being able to be licensed to go do the CDL training. So we'd like to try something like this, even try 3. Students have to be 17 and a half years of age. The additional coursework that would be part of that is 14 hours of online completed training or online completed coursework. It's supervised by our World of Work teacher. And we're in cooperation with Bridgewater College in that online coursework. And then students then could go take a permit test, which I think is a written test. They take that piece, which is relatively inexpensive. I think it's $20, $30. They take that, and then they go and can be ready to go do the behind the wheel training for their CDL, which we're in cooperation with Bridgewater with that. They do this, I believe, even at their Wilmer campus, but Andrea Moore, our Tiger Path coordinator, has been working with them, as also Jen Teleski, about the partnership that we'll have with them if students, when they're ready to be able to go do that, or if there's any local, talking potentially with some local businesses too, to see if there's any interest in partnering to offset some of that cost. I believe it's somewhere around $6,700 depending, or $6,000 to $7,000 depending on where students go to actually go get a CDL license. There has been some parents that have heard about this, are interested in saying, well, that is something that's of very interest, because they can go pay that. You know, if you're going to college, you're going to pay, you know, go to college, you're going to pay that for classes or whatever. So there's definitely, if this is leading right to post high school career of having a CDL and where that will bring them, it's just another step of our Tiger Path philosophy to offer something very relevant to students. So that's also something in development, but wanting to have that available to students already, maybe even this trimester, because it's already a course, it's just kind of augmenting it. And then the last one is natural chemistry, natural physics. We've had this in our course guide a few years ago and didn't, so we're bringing it back and adding another trimester of it. So when the state standards changed, previously students took in 9th grade a half a year of chemistry, physics, and then in 10th grade they took their biology, and then 11th grade they might take that other half of physics or chemistry or more. Because of the state standard changes, 9th graders this year and our current 10th graders, when they were 9th graders, took earth science. So there was no chemistry or physics credits available at that time, and state standards still have chemistry or physics 1 credit needed. Now as these students are going to become juniors next year, having another option for chemistry and physics, still offering our chemistry and physics courses that are available. This is just another layer for students that might not be going on to post-secondary schooling, maybe not needing that in-depth chemistry or physics, still meeting state standards, but just having a different layer to it. So we do need to add an A and a B section of that for 1 credit, and it's really because of state standard switches. So I'll take any questions if you have anything on that before I get into any of the district highlights. If there's any questions, comments, concerns about any of the courses, or go ahead and move forward.
You're good.
Okay, thank you. Some highlights, Tiger Elementary Food Drive donated their food to the food shelf. It's an annual event at Tiger. They had 1,648 items. I don't know if they counted all those or how they did that, but probably took a long time. So thanks for counting all that. And staff who assisted and led were Casey Paternos, Joe Bridge, Melissa Ovaje, Casey Nornas, Jackie Bakken, Chad Harlander, and the football team who transported, some members of the football team that transported the items. Maybe they had them count them. That's a suggestion, have the football team count them. And Tiger families who donated, and parents who are Kate, am I going to say that name right? Ostrowski? Did I say that right? Yes?
Ostrowski.
Okay. Who packed it up. So there was a winning classroom. Taylor Hoffman's class had 341 items. So thank you to all the families and for donating, and the students who brought that in, and all the people involved who assisted and packed it up and got it to the food shelf. Middle school they wanted to recognize that they had their student family reach dinner take place on December 11th. Thanks to Chad Harlander, Lizzie Brodsky, Jacqueline Milkey, and Angela Young for their dedication to that program and that event. It's kind of been an annual event in our REACH program to have families get together around that time. And they also had their winter choir and band concerts held at the high school. That was on December 8th for choir and the 16th for band. It was very successful, thanks to Laura Leopold, our choir director, and Lindsay Simonette, our band teacher, for their hard work and dedication to the middle school program, and Mr. McDowell for helping organize and supervise those events. Carrie Taylor wanted to recognize Diane Jankowski and Amy Rodelius and all the people that helped with the Legion of VFW holiday party. So another successful event and a tradition in Hutchinson, so thank you. Open swim. You can see that a little better up there than I can on my screen, but at the Hutchinson Middle School, there's open swim again this year, 7 to 9 p.m. Free open swimming on those Friday nights in January, February, March, and April. Looks like over about a dozen times that are available. So just a plug to see if for families to be interested in coming to that. And district highlight, Dan spoke a little bit about this, but they had their first MASA advanced leadership cohort, Minnesota Association of Secondary School Administrators. It was a 15-month development series. We had 16 in-person, 7 online sessions for district leadership, engaging your peers, and there's a picture of all the participants up there. Dan's in the upper right. So thanks, Dan, for participating in that. And those are the highlights that they had. We have January 19th, our PD day. I wanted to say thank you to all of our presenters. There's some in the community outside of Hutchinson schools. There's certainly people within our district that are presenting some things that morning for our staff. I think we'll have our first round of our support staff this year. That'll be completed with the REDAC training. There's more sessions that are continually going on and making sure that we can get as many done. But there's all 4 sessions are offered that morning for our support staff as well that are in need to complete that. So we have a lot of topics that are offered to not only meet licensure mandates, but also obviously help in their classrooms and in our staff's work with students.
Thank you, Mike. All right, Ms. Bowl.
Good evening, everyone. The Finance Department, we'd have a couple of other updates to share with the annual financial audit and truth and taxation hearing behind us. We have the revised budget in process. We're also working on calendar year-end processing, so W-2s, 1099s impact public schools just like other companies. I think the highlight from the last month would be the closing on the bond refunding. So if you recall, we refinanced the 2016 bonds, issued the 2025 A bonds, and we are going to be able to save our taxpayers about $400,000. And just as a reminder, that isn't general fund savings, that's taxpayer savings. In addition, the department's working very hard to support negotiations, the paid family leave implementation, and then right before the holiday break, we received notification that we received a reallocation of voluntary pre-kindergarten seats. And so we've been working district office, West Elementary, and the early childhood programming very quickly and diligently to open that program up starting tomorrow. So this will be $67,000 additional preschool funds that we can braid into the tuition that families are paying and the legacy school readiness money. And so we will be able to offer an all-day program to 13 students, which includes meals and busing. So that's really exciting for our district. Just wanted to make sure we shared that. The food service department would like you to highlight the Minnesota Thursday meal that's coming up on January 29th. The menu is beef and bean chili, cornbread with maple butter and squash, and it's all made from scratch and locally sourced. Not quite as exciting, but just as important in technology, the cybersecurity initiatives continue. And then there's a lot of AI professional development that's going on throughout the district. With that, I can take any questions. What's coming ahead in finance is we'll have a revised budget coming in February, and then we'll be going through some long-range projection scenarios as we work with our administrators and really all staff to plan next year's budget and staffing plan. So.
No, thank you very much for the update. All right, rolling on to this, there we go, program position reduction resolution. This is a resolution we just do every year at this time. Is there a motion for the resolution as presented on the board?
So moved.
Oh,
Second.
time out. Motion by Mossman, second by Knutson. We got that. Any discussion? This will be a roll call vote. Oh, is there? All right. All right. Pullman?
Aye.
Mossman?
Aye.
Jankowski?
Aye.
Luthens? Aye. Knutson?
Aye.
Olmsted?
Aye.
All right, resolution passed 6-0. Employee handbook 2025-2026. Dan, is there anything you want to speak to?
Just mostly we had to get the paid Minnesota leave figured out since the last time we approved this, and we couldn't have possibly had that all in here. So that is now inserted in and will be sent out to our employees.
All right, is there a motion to accept the handbook as presented?
So moved.
Motion by Olmsted, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Pullman. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Both same sign, handbook passed. All right, off to committee reports. Comprehensive achievement, civic readiness.
We were
Pullman
just
or
at,
Jeanette?
we were just at that today.
Okay.
Do you mind if I?
Go ahead.
Sure. So I think the one thing I wanted to highlight, because Dr. Scott did mention many things that were already brought up, but one of the things we looked at is we keep track of the number of failing grades and D- grades, and we keep a record of it, and we're keeping track of cohorts. And so let me share some numbers. When we talk about what does it mean to be successful, a lot of times we look at MCAs. This is another way to gauge whether or not we're being successful. And so when we look from, now I don't know, is it the 23-24 year to the 24-25 year? Let me.
And then we have this trimester grades right now. The one thing that we went over today was the 25-26 just try one grade so far.
Okay.
So yeah, so the numbers that we saw today for 25-26 are just try one grades right now. So if you kind of look at those and multiply those numbers by 3, if we stay at an average, that's kind of where we might end the year.
Got it.
Yes.
Got it.
Otherwise, it looked remarkably well if it was.
Maybe that was why I was so dang excited today.
Still be excited. It will still look exciting, but yes.
Yeah. So when you look at, say, what the 6th graders were doing, then you look the next year at the 7th graders, and those numbers are markedly down. So it just is a great indication of the hard work that we do to have credit recovery and identifying those students and all of that. It's pretty exciting.
Yes, and while the older kids can opt out of doing the MCA testing, they really can't opt out of this. So we get a good indication as to how many kids are getting Fs or failing, and if that number is going down, that's a great thing for our district, and it seems to be in some grades that is happening. So we're really happy to see that.
Thank you guys for the update. Facilities?
So there's some really positive things right now that have happened on facilities or with regards to our facilities. Happy to say that the facility rental, where we partnered with, changed our policy and partnered with several of the associations to allow for their own members to come in and facilitate practices. That process is going really well so far, so I just wanted to update the board. And then from a staffing position, Mr. Tenick made an offer to fill our last position, which was a night float position. So as of that person starting, we'll be fully staffed, which is great. We do potentially see that we could have some upcoming retirements in the next couple of years, so we may be refilling those, but it's nice to acknowledge all the hard work that folks have put into making sure we're fully staffed there. A couple of issues that we're working through. The windows at Tiger continue to be a process. We probably won't know more about that process for the next month or two. We're dealing with some mechanical upgrades to the pool, and we'll continue to do that through spring break. That pool is nearly 30 years old, so this is all pretty standard for the life expectancy of a site like that. We are looking at refurbishing or adding to some of our playgrounds at Weston Tiger and making them more handicap accessible. And I think we have a good plan for what we may think is best there and more economical, and what we can then maybe approach the community about doing some fundraising for. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Finance, Ms. Pullman?
So we have 45% of our revenues booked and 36% of our expenses. Our register, the board members did ask the questions necessary and they were answered. And then we also did, I did want to mention that the administrators have already started on looking at the budget. What does it need to be? What needs to be cut? It's I think maybe a 12 meeting process starting in January before they bring us their recommendation. So that has begun.
Thanks, sir. Parks and Rec.
A couple of things to mention right now. I know that these are all things many of which I think the community is aware of, but just to highlight kind of where we are in the process. Roberts Park is getting all new lighting, which is kind of a big deal because it's been a long time since they've had that. And the end date of that project will be April of 2026. So they'll be very busy here in the next few months getting that up and going. There'll be some new signage going up at the AFS Park. Sorry. We are applying, I believe, for the third year in a row for the Greater Minnesota Transportation Alternative Grant. We applied for this grant money specifically to form a link between the area between where the fields are by Tiger Elementary, and that would be going east towards the residential area. I can't remember what street that is, but anyone remember, shout it out. But we've not received that grant, and it would really be amazing if we did. So we keep the Lynn Newman and her wonderful people keep applying for that, which would be great. We're applying again for the Prairie Restoration Grant, which really helped us out last year in kind of cleaning up some of the brush in the area. The rink at Park Elementary is open, and then I've read was kind of slightly not open because of temperature issues. So, but I do see on Parks and Rec that they do a really good job of sort of informing the public on Facebook when that is and isn't open. So keep looking out for that. And as Mike already mentioned, there's going to be several opportunities to participate in some open swims at Carlson Pool over the winter months, which would be great. Thank you.
Nice job. Question, was there technology last month? You guys? No. Nothing for licensure?
No.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure, you guys. All right, and just to confirm for the rest of January, we'll keep our normal schedule, then in February, we're gonna flip over to the new schedule. All right, hearing nothing else, is there a motion to close?
Just one second, I'm sorry. On here, it talks about January 19th being a meeting, and I believe that maybe was originally when the demographer could come, and it got put down as just in case, but didn't get off of here. So we're not.
It's part of the strategic plan.
Oh, for them to come? Okay, all right.
Oh, okay, so we do have a meeting at 5:30 on the 19th.
Oh, that makes sense. That's why it's on here. Okay. Originally, I had talked about that with the demographer as well. So, but that's their strategic planning time that they come in. Okay, that makes sense. So we have.
Sarah, I'll follow up with all the board to see. Okay.
I'm shocked I don't have it on my calendar.
I don't have that on it.
All right. We're gonna close a meeting, go into closed session for the superintendent evaluations. Is there a motion to close the meeting?
So moved.
Motion by Knutson, second by Olmsted. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, meeting closed.